How's it going, YouTube? We are back, and for the first time, we're going to be doing a monthly power rankings. As you can see, I have 15 slots written down. I have the current best last 10, which is the Cardinals going 8-2 out of their last 10 games. The worst being the Tigers at 1-9. The current highest win streak is tied between the Cardinals and the Nationals with 4, and the current highest losing streak is the Tigers with 5. So the Cardinals have really been picking up their game as of late, and Nationals are starting to heat up as well, which we all expected. Unfortunately, I don't have the Nationals in the top 10 yet, or top 15 even yet. We're going to start with the Atlanta Braves at number 15. The current National League East champ is having a hard time getting going. They're still sub 500. But I believe they've dropped 4 straight, so they're having a hard time getting going. They're injured. Soroka, I don't know if he's back quite yet. I know Max Fried is injured, so the pitching staff has taken a little bit of a hit. Ronald Acuna Jr. is playing at an MVP level. Freddie Freeman's playing pretty decently, so I expect them to get a little bit better in the future. Especially in May. May is normally a month where people start to get out of that, early season funk. The Braves are going to be a good team. I expect them to be top 10 by the time May rolls around. This is a team I expect to see a lot of regression out of, and that is the Tampa Bay Rays. The World Series, runner-ups, the American League champion. The Tampa Bay Rays, they lost Blake Snell. They lost Charlie Morton. Glasnow's still there. He's playing pretty well. Yarborough's still there. The pitching staff is much to be desired, and their record is starting to show it. I believe they are 4th in the American League East, behind the Blue Jays, the Red Sox, and the Yankees, in no particular order, because I think the Red Sox have the division right now. The differential is not great for them. A lot of this is going to be based on run differential. So if you see teams in weird spots, it's because I see run differential as a pretty key stat. You're putting up a lot of runs and you're not giving up as many, and that makes you a good team in my eyes. So the Rays are at number 14, and then we will see the Mets. The Mets, a lot of people consider the Mets to be a serious threat to win that National League East, and I looked at their lineup and said, probably not. Their pitching staff is decent, Stroman, Syndergaard, who's hurt, I believe. Obviously, DeGrom, the best pitcher in baseball right now. But your pitching doesn't mean anything if you can't score any runs, as I throw my marker. So you can't score runs, you can't win games, no matter how good your pitching is. And DeGrom is seeing a case of that this season, as always. This team, that being the A's, really turned it around. I believe they went like 0-8 to start the year, and then all of a sudden they go and they win like 10 straight. It was pretty crazy to see. But they still aren't in the top 10 for me, based on the fact that the run differential has still not recovered yet. They're on their way back. They'll be a top 10 team in May probably, but their differential still hasn't recovered fully. Their lineup still hasn't really bounced back as much as I was expecting. Matt Chapman still isn't playing as good as he normally would be. Matt Olson has really been the one that has been carrying their lineup. So expect them to be in the top 10 next month. Expect them to be probably first in their division maybe. We'll see if some other teams in the AL West have something to say about that. And this one, probably one of the more surprising teams. The current first place team in the American League Central, that being the Kansas City Royals. They've really seen some young guys blossom. Brady Singer being one of them. I believe he just got hurt recently on a comebacker, so hopefully he gets back soon. Their lineup has been good. Salvi's been good. Jorge Soler's been hitting bombs. Whit Merrifield started off hot. He's cooled down a little bit, but he's staying consistent, hitting around 280. And that team can be, who knows? That Central is a weird little division. I believe they are still first. There is a team ahead of them in the Central, based because of the fact that the run differential is so much better for the other guys. They just haven't put it together yet. But the Royals are first right now. Let's see how long that lasts. And then number 10, the first in the Central, the National League Central this time, the Milwaukee Brewers. So a lot of you people may be thinking, how are you going to have other teams that are not first in the division be higher than the teams that are first in the division? And the reason being is, you look at the roster, you look at the composition of the roster, you look the potential of the roster going forward, as well as, you know, how are they currently playing? Are they slumping? Are they hot? You know what I mean? Are they giving up a lot of runs? Are they scoring a lot of runs? And the Brewers are a team that keeps people off the board, but struggles to put runs across. And in terms of the other teams that I have on here for that National League Central, they managed to keep the runs against to a pretty decent total and score a lot of runs in return. And that's why the Brewers are at 10. And the other team in the National League Central is lower. But this time we're going to go to the National League West. And this may make a lot of people angry. San Diego Padres. The San Diego Padres. They've been giving up a lot more runs than people would have expected. Maybe that and some other teams in other divisions are overachieving, but they barely cracked the top 10 at number 9. You know, Blake Snell has been pretty abysmal. He just barely won his first game on his most recent start. Yu Darvish has been exceptional. He's pitched incredibly well. You know, Chris Paddock has had his struggles. What's his name? What's the kid's name? Weathers, 21-year-old left-hander. He's been dominant, completely dominant. He gets hurt, and that's a problem for them. I don't see them, you know, moving too far past this point. Maybe they get up to 7-6 range by May, but if they're going to continue to suffer injuries, Weathers is a serious injury, because right now him and Darvish are the 1 and 2 in my eyes. Lamet suffered a little setback. He's back on the IL. So that team is, you know, they're struggling a little bit. They're third in the division, but I believe they only have like a half-game lead on Arizona. And it looks like this division is more competitive than we thought it was going to be. And that makes for good baseball. Number 8, we got the Yankees. A lot of people had this as a number 2 team, and they've really been struggling. Giancarlo hasn't been hitting. Judge really hasn't been hitting. LeMahieu hasn't been hitting. Their pitching staff has been okay. Garrett Cole, Corey Kluber just won Pitcher of the Week, I believe. So if he can stick to pitching at that level, it'll give them a pretty significant chance. Domingo Germán's been okay, but they really need their bats to heat up. Really, the only person they need to heat up significantly is LeMahieu, because LeMahieu is that engine on that team, and when he goes, the team goes. And then number 7, a team that a lot of people will probably be surprised that I have them this high, the St. Louis Cardinals. Now, the St. Louis Cardinals, as I drop my marker again, the St. Louis Cardinals have been playing some pretty decent baseball. They're hot right now. Winners of 4 straight, 8 and 10 out of the last 10, or 8 and 2 out of their last 10. And their pitching staff is obviously pretty decent. They have, you know, Flaherty. They got some young guys in there that have stepped up. They have Goldschmidt. They have Arenado. They got a nice, well-rounded roster, and they don't give up too many runs, and they can make some noise on the board. And I see probably a little bit of regression as you see the Yankees maybe climb up to 7 or 6, or the Padres come up. But right now they own that 7th spot, and I feel pretty good about them. I had them winning the division in the Central. I had, you know, I don't think I had anybody, maybe the A's winning that division and the Braves winning their division. So, you know, first place guys are struggling all over the league, really. So it shouldn't be that big of a surprise if they do fall back a little bit. Because this game is a game of inches and a streaky game at best. Number 6, who the MLB have at number 2, I have the Red Sox. On paper, I don't really see this team as too great of a team yet. I think they're still missing some key pieces, and I still think they need like an ace starter, because Chris Sale is still hurt, And if Chris Sale manages to come back at any capacity, I don't believe it'll be even close to where we have seen him in the past. These injuries have really started to take a toll, and I don't expect him to be as good as he was at one point in his career. But even if he doesn't come back to that capacity, he will still be able to make a difference. The energy in the locker room is going to change, and maybe they got a shot at making the playoffs this year because other teams behind them have been struggling, especially in the American League East. The Yankees haven't been playing good ball, but a team that I think has been playing some great ball, even though their record doesn't show it, is the Blue Jays. The Blue Jays are a top 5 team in my opinion right now. Their record may not show it, but they do score a lot of runs. They have a potent offense. Their pitching staff has been serviceable, and if they can continue to get some decent production out of their pitching staff, the offense will be there for them. Vladdy's been playing at a potential MVP level for the American League, and if Bo steps it up a little bit, they get some more production out of Springer, who just came back. I believe he came back and he hit like a 470-foot bomb. So Springer's finally back, and that offense is only going to get better with him there. So expect them to keep playing better, but actually rack up some wins. So because I believe they're only 2 games over 500. And number 4, the San Francisco Giants, the current number 1 spot in the National League West, the San Francisco Giants, even though it is only by half a game. But they're shutting teams down. They're winning games, they're blowing people out, and they're shutting teams down. How long will that last? Don't know. Are they going to decide that they're a contender this year? And if at the deadline they're still in a place to compete, are they going to go and be a buyer? Who knows? I wouldn't suggest it. Their team on paper, I still don't think it's that good. They obviously have Donovan Solano. Longoria's been pretty decent. Brandon Belt, Crawford, they've seen a little bit of resurgence. Their pitching staff has been pretty good, obviously, because they're winning games. But, there's a big blue monster in that division. And the Padres are a team to be reckoned with as well. So, realistically, do they have a chance to make a wild card spot with, maybe the Brewers there or the Mets or the Braves? I wouldn't think so. But right now, they're number 4 because they continue to play good baseball and they continue to keep teams off the score sheet and rack up a lot of runs. Now we're into the Elite 3. The Chicago White Sox, a team that has a pretty nice pitching staff. They got themselves Giolito, they got themselves Lance Lynn, Carlos Rodon just threw a no-hitter not that long ago. Their lineup is pretty decent. Once they get Luis Robert back, expected to heat up even more. They're missing Eloy Jimenez, who will be back by probably June, hopefully June or July, which will add another power bat in their lineup. Yermin Mercedes has been a nice revelation for them. Maybe Rookie of the Year for Yermin Mercedes. But they're playing good ball even without some of their better players. And whenever you're playing good ball without your better players and they come back, it just adds a little extra juice to already a good team. And then we'll see what happens from there. Number 2, another team that's been playing some great baseball, even though their record doesn't show it, is the Houston Astros. The second best team in terms of run differential behind the number 1 team. They're struggling to win games, but they're putting up a lot of runs. Altuve's been playing pretty decently. Correa, Bregman, all those guys are hitting the ball. They're putting it in play, and they're great power numbers. They're scoring a lot of runs, and they're, they obviously, if you're scoring a lot of runs and you're not giving up a lot of runs, it makes you a pretty decent team. They just haven't managed to put it together yet. I believe that they are either first or second in their division, but the record isn't amazing. So once they start to finish off their wins, start winning close games and not just the wide ones, you'll see their records start to jump, and maybe they threaten the number 1 power ranking team, which is the Dodgers still, even though they are second in their division, coming off I think it was 16-4 victory in the final game of the Milwaukee series. They've dropped a lot of games recently and a lot of close games, unfortunately. But you're going to see them bounce back sooner or later. There's no way that this team is just going to, flounder. They're a little bit hungover. I think they started off so hot. You lose guys like Bellinger, you lose guys like May now. I think May's probably done for the year, unfortunately for him. Hopefully he comes back better and healthy. Bellinger, Lux was out for a while. We're missing a lot of guys. Bruzdar, Joe Kelly's still hurt. But expect them to come back healthy. Expect them to continue to fight, make close games, score a lot of runs. The bats will heat up. They've been pretty cold. Seager's been cold. Mookie hasn't been hitting. Pollock just has been blasting the ball recently. And, Matt Beatty as well. Such a random guy off the bench. For people that don't watch the Dodgers, Matt Beatty had like 7 RBIs last night. So they have a lot of players that are serviceable. And when they get their studs back, expect them to be a powerhouse, as we all thought. I still have them winning over 100 games. But a start like this, if it continues, chances are they won't make that push for 100. But we'll see. If you guys like videos like this, leave a like. If you enjoyed, subscribe. Comment other ideas you have for videos or other things that you'd like to see done in the future. And I'll see you guys next time.